Hey, so tonight I'm working on the last page of chapter 16. I'm going to show you how I approach making a cinematic finale. One of those really cool stylistic pages that mangas tend to have all the time. So for this shot, I've already got the sketch worked out here. I typically do it with a pencil brush. I got the text in. And from here I'm ready to go on to the next layer. But first, I want to show you my reference because references are super important in doing this. I really like the vibe this scene gives. This is from Naruto with Itachi. I'm sure you've seen Naruto by now, so if you haven't, spoiler alert, this is before he does something really bad. And you get this really nice shot of the moon behind him, and he's in this dark silhouette. Now what my plan is to do is have Hikaboshi here standing atop a building and have a drastic looking moon behind him. I'll have him shaded in black with a crow next to him, also shaded in black. We'll have some buildings behind him, and then we'll have a nice zoom in of Hikaboshi looking a little confident, a little cocky. That's how his character is. And he's saying, right on time. So this is going to give a good segue into the next chapter. It leaves off with a little bit of curiosity. What is he talking about? What's the plan? The page previous to this one, we see our lead Layla and her best friend Yasmin. They're up to something. And they're counting on Hikaboshi to pull through. We don't know exactly what the plan is yet, but we're going to end on this good cliffhanger of a shot. Okay, before I go ahead with this, there is something I want to test out. And that is, I'd like to know if this page would still work if we colored everything in between black, because that's the kind of energy I want going into this. So let's do a quick test. Just gonna do it a little sloppily. It doesn't need to be perfect. It's always important to use references. It's very key. They can help out so much. So like what I'm doing right now is just tracing the sky, and I'm just gonna infill it with black, and we're gonna see how that looks. I'm hoping it will still give the kind of contrast and energy that I'm looking for when I do my shot. Let's pretend that's the building here. You know, just do it kind of rough, kind of lax. Okay, got my other layer on right here, and let's see. Yeah, I think that works. What do you guys think? I think that is pretty good. In my shot, I don't plan on having any clouds. How would it look without any clouds? Let's fill it all in. I'm not sure which I like more. I think it's still pretty effective, and regardless, my scene is going to include Hikaboshi's face zoomed in with the crow over his shoulder. Right here. Okay. Yeah, I think that should work. It is looking a little bland here, but my building is going to be arched a little bit higher. The moon is going to be more crescent. We're going to have Hikaboshi here and a zoom in on him. So let's try it out. Switch the layer to blue, make it a little bit lighter. And this is when I begin drawing out the next layer. So I like to use the real G pen. Just has a nice flow to it, and it's not too perfect like when you use regular G pen. It's too fine, too clean. This one you get some nice edges with. Super basic, super standard, but so typically when I get the second layer, I'm mostly just getting in more details than my first sketch. The sketch is mostly for myself to understand the layout. Here's where we can start adding in more details. Nothing has to be perfect here. This is all just so you can work off of it. Let's undo that. Let's see. I want to give the angle a little bit higher up. Yeah, I kind of like that better. I was going to have his mouth open, but I think it'll look stronger like this. I like to make Hikaboshi look just a little menacing. He's a Jin hunter after all, so he's seen the worst of the worst. Remember, you want to detail this up just enough, but not too much. At this point in the story, we've got Layla coming to terms with her abilities and for the first time sharing it with others and trying to do something good with it. And Hikaboshi's playing a big part, a big role in that change in her life. We got some wind blowing. The good thing about doing these kind of layers is you can, play around with it. Figure out how you want the hair to sway. So Layla right now is going to make a big move in this coming chapter. And Hikaboshi is helping her out. Now, if you're this far into the story, you're probably suspecting he's got his own agenda, his own motives, but we don't know what they are yet. If you thought he was just doing it out of the kindness of his heart, then you're not picking up the clues I'm putting down. Could be on me, but I don't think so. I've got his feathery cloak. Gonna have it sway like the wind. How do I want the raven? Do I want the raven to be already perched, or do I want it to be landing? And if it's landing, it's not gonna look as nice from that angle. Say if his beak is here, his body's coming down. Yeah, I think this is what I'll go for. And when I fill this in, I'm gonna make sure there's a good white space to separate Hikaboshi's hair from the raven. Make sure if you're using birds, you study how their wings operate. It's very key. It kind of looks goofy right now. I like to sometimes make my sketches look goofy as I'm drawing. Entertains myself a bit. Okay, I like that. Now let's flip the page, see how it's looking. Fix it up. See, the mouth does not look good on this. Let me back up. It's looking pretty decent here, but once I flip it, something ain't right with it. So let's try it like this. And still not giving the energy I want. Maybe we need a little bit of teeth showing. Starting to like that, but let's angle it, exaggerate it a bit more. Up here. See, this phase is for all the kind of trials. Trial and error, trial and error. If we're gonna do that, we can angle up the eyebrows a bit more. Make him look a bit more mischievous. There we go. That's good. So, coming up on this chapter, we've got a big lore dump. Kind of like back in chapter 8, where we get a brief explanation when Fairuz is explaining to Yasmin about the story of King Rod. And if you notice on the website, there's a new chapter, 12.5. It's a short chapter preview of King Rod's prequel story, which I am working on. It's going to be seasonal, and it's going to be on the Coffee Originals website. I wanted it to kind of feel like a Shonen Jump kind of series, where this is a lot more seinen, a lot more serious and detailed. Rod's story is going to be more shonen-esque, with a team of fighters and getting stronger and power-ups. Now there's I'm thinking about the moons from what is it called? D. Gray Man, or was it Soul Eater? You know, the one with the nose. Kind of looks like this, like super crazy and silly. Kind of have that kind of Tim Burton effect with the crescent. Just exaggerate it enough. Yeah, I think it'd be cool if the cloak, so if we are going to make the background black, and then we fill in Hikaboshi in that same color, it would look cool to have the moon look like it's getting broken up. whenever you want to finish a chapter with like a strong image like this, like a full page spread or a double page spread, definitely look up references. Now this reference is just from, sometimes I just like to scribble around, you know, keep the hand moving, keep the wrist loose. I think this is just a panel, the upper panel of the page. It's been a long time since I read Naruto, so if my memory serves, it was this panel, and then you got like 2 other panels below it. Maybe. But anyways, I'd like it to look more dramatic, where it almost looks like the moon is cracked. That would look pretty cool, I think. Yeah, something like that. Then we can have the raven coming in. One thing that also helps to make sure you have the kind of composition that you're looking for. Just give everything a nice quick hatch where you're going to have really dark colors. So like all of this would be black. I'm going to have some white lines for details. But for the most part, that's going to be pitch black. Now when it comes to the buildings and all the extra details they're going to need, I like to use this little simple thing. Whoops. Like a little goes a long way with that one. And another trick, because if you just do that, it's going to look silly. You can grab it, just play with the skew distortion. See that? Line it up. Now you got yourself a better, more authentic looking design. Come back here, transform, skew again. Again, this is just to get your ideas on the page, make it start to work. We could do one of those windows over here. Keep it dark, like nobody's awake. Then you'll get a nice checkered pattern here for your page. So we're looking at the right side of the book here. So you're probably going to lose a little bit of this in the fold of the book. So it's better to have these kind of details on this side, where you're going to be flipping through pages, and that way it'll catch your eye a lot better. So that way it'll get a little bit of a checkered look. Again, you want it to feel thematic, you want it to feel really special. go over it as much times as you need. If you need to make another layer over this one, do it. I'm at the point where sometimes I'll even skip this layer and go into finals if it's like a smaller scene, something less scale, less impactful moments, something I can do quicker. But this, I like to take my time even more. Let it stick with you. Let the scene stick with you that way. Get some. See, still keeping it rough, but just enough to get the point across. And I think this page could be really cool. So in another layer, oh whoops, wrong tool. I just added another layer. I'm gonna shade this in black now, just to see how that will look. Don't forget the bird. Color him in. Get a little bit closer to the hairline. Okay. See, we have this thing here where the page is kind of, we've got the bird's wing here pointing this way. We've got the corner of the building pointing this way. The moon is, everything is getting to this edge of the page. Those are the kind of relationships you want when doing these things. There's certain ratios that I use sometimes, the golden ratio. It's that thing where you've got the rectangle and that spiral comes out, and you just, it's a way of dividing up your page, and study that, practice that as much as you can, because it'll really help with your layouts, where you've got, you know, the smaller focal point and it gets bigger as it zooms out. Now this one, I didn't even look at that for reference, but I had been studying it for so long that, like, you just start picking up these things. And that's why you really need to get started. If you're working on a manga, just start drawing. You know, put the tutorials away for just a minute and just get your thoughts on a page. Go back to the tutorial. See what you can do now that you've done it to improve. That would be my advice. I think we need like some kind of pattern in here. Really, most of the time I download and use patterns to fill in, give it the more Arabian vibes. Now, since I'm still playing around, how would a couple clouds look? Does it fill the composition in better? Does that look worse? Yeah, I kind of want that corner to stay black. Cloud here is not too bad. Maybe another one here, a couple stars. Do I give it a very faded look here? Nah, okay. That's a little much. The stars are gonna look a little bit smaller. Yeah, I think I can work with this. So this video, yeah, okay, see this, I'm happy with this. This is a good cliffhanger of a page. We ended off, we have Hiko looking a bit menacing, looking cocky and confident, and it's at this point where you can make everything blue again, lighten it up, and go go into our layers and finalize the page with the final lines, the final strokes, clean it up, and wrap it up. If you want to see that process video, let me know. Comment below chapter 16, and I'll make a follow-up video to this where you can see me finalize and finish this page.